So we discussed about one-to-one relationships. Let me open Query browser. One-to-one and one-to-many we discussed, right? So in the employee class, we are using one-to-many, right? We are using join table for whatever the table it is generating for one-to-many relationship. That we are using the name can be customizable. That is called employee vehicle join table. So if you want to customize that join table names and column names, you can use @join table annotation. Name, join columns, and inverse columns represent uh, temporary. Join tables vehicle ID. Join tables vehicle ID is a inverse for the employee ID, right? So that's why it's a inverse join column, right? That's vehicle ID. So when I run this application, the join table will be created with the with this customizable name. So for one, so whenever in the client program, if I want an employee having what are the vehicles corresponding to the employee, I can get, right, using get vehicles. Of course, it's a lazy initialization. The Hibernate uses lazy initializations, right? Whenever you say get vehicles, at that time it query the database and it can give the vehicles corresponding to the employee ID 2 as specified here. But what happens if I want a vehicle class? For that particular vehicle ID, what are the employees corresponding to? Okay. What are the employees corresponding? So we are using relationship here, but we are not using relationship here, right? Earlier, before we do this. Okay, this is called bidirectional, right? Vehicle to employee also I need a mapping. You are saying so. Uh, so I need to use @many to one. Otherwise, you cannot get from vehicle. You cannot get the employees. So employee. So one many to one. So I am using EMP. I generated getters and setters. Okay. So in the employee class, if I want to get a vehicle from vehicle to employee, I can get right. Okay. So I provided mapping between employee to vehicle here, one to many relationship, right? Uh, so with this relationship, I can get with the employee object. I can also get the vehicles corresponding to the employee because I mentioned one to many in the client program. When I get the employee object, I can also get corresponding vehicles to the employee because I mentioned one to many relationship for the vehicles, right? So in case of, if suppose in the client program, if I want a vehicle class, vehicle object, I want a corresponding employee for that vehicle. I cannot get it without a relationship. I have to use a relationship called many to one, right? Many vehicles have one employee, right? So many to one to employee, so that I can now vehicle has a relationship with the employee. From vehicle we have a relationship with the employee. So whenever I get a vehicle object, I can also get employee information. If I don't use many to one, when you get the vehicle, you cannot get the employee information, corresponding employee information, because there is no relationship from the vehicle, right? So in the hybrid class, this is called a bidirectional mapping. Two sides, from employee to vehicle, from vehicle to employee, right? If you want to see that, I can show you vehicle. vehicle equal to session dot get now vehicle dot hash, and the ID is, let's say, 2. I'm saying get name. This is the vehicle name. Now I want to get the employee. So vehicle dot get emp. We want to get a name, get name of employee. Right. So let me run this. Run as Java application. Okay. The vehicle with ID 2 is bike, and vehicle, so employee ID also you got employee name and vehicle name. You are able to, so from vehicle you are able to get the employee. This is only because we have a mapping from the vehicle to employee. That's why we introduced a many-to-one relationship there in the vehicle. If we don't have many-to-one relationship and you have employee but you don't have any relationship with that employee, means you will not get when you say get employee. Okay, so that's the reason we mentioned many-to-one there. Okay, so okay, in the employee, right? So actually I told you, right, whenever I run the program for one-to-many relationship, you don't need to have a separate table for it, right? But in Hibernate by default it's maintaining a separate table. What we thought actually, in the vehicle this is enough. This we don't need in the vehicle. If you track employees in the vehicle itself, so you doesn't require to have a extra table for it. So we can, I mean, we can also configure to not to generate a table. So how to do that? In the one-to-many we have a option called my mapped row. Yeah, mapped by equal to. So mapped by equal to. So what is the in the vehicle? What is the employee? This is the employee. So I am using this. Okay. So whatever in the vehicle, this EMP is an employee. This is going to mapping, right? This is a mapping between vehicle to employee, right? So I am saying EMP. That's it. If you use this, I am removing these tables now. Why I am removing? Suppose if I employee vehicle will not be created now, but it will not have any relationship, right, with the Hibernate, so it will not delete. That's why I am deleting manually. So I am running the program. Okay, sorry. So we don't have any custom table right now, right? That custom table we are not defining, because if you generate a custom table, the custom, sorry, the if you that join table is not generated right now, so we doesn't require this join table if you use the mapped row. sorry, mapped by, if you use the mapped by property, right, you don't need to use the join table because mapped by doesn't generate any join table now. That's why we don't need to use join table statement, so annotation. So I doesn't use that. Now I will run the program. Okay, I got the results. Let me go and see, refresh. So I don't have any join table now, right? I don't have any join table. This is enough. Employee ID is enough. So here you are saying that I am mapping with this EMP. That's it. Mapped by one to many. I am mapping in the within the vehicle with which employee object you are mapping. You need that, right? In the vehicle class, which what is the string? You need to know this employee variable. That employee variable you have to provide in the employee class. I mean, why it is asking that where proper that attribute value, because it internally generates, uses its getters and setters to do this task. That's why it is asking that property name. Okay, so if you give mapped by equal to vehicle class employee object, so it will not generate any uh, extra join table for one to many relationship, right? Okay, so moving to many relationship. So definitely many to many relationship, you should be have a joint table. Without that we cannot map, right? So if you use many to many, if you want to use many to many uh, here, you just need to use many to many here, right? I'm just annotate commenting this annotation. You just need to use at the rate many to many. That's it. But many to many means from vehicle also many to many. So if it is many to many, I need to use list of employees, not a normal employee, right? So I will comment this, right, at the rate. First I will declare, I'll also comment this private set employee list equal to new asset, right? Now I generate getters and setters for it. Source, generate getters and setters. Okay, so and after that I have to mention here many to many. Okay, and that's it. So in the client class I just need to add the employees to the vehicles, vehicles to the employees, right? So this is fine, and vehicles I need to add. So vehicle to vehicle also I need to add the employee information, right? So right, so I doesn't require 4 5 6. Okay, so what I'm doing in the vehicles list, right? So I'm only adding one employee, right? Okay, I will comment this. Okay, so I maintain many to many relationships here, right? So I saved all vehicles and employee and vehicles and employees I saved, right? Run as Java application. Okay. See, if you see here, there are two tables, two temporary tables. Employee to vehicles, there is a temporary table. Vehicle to employee, there is a temporary table, right? So it maintains the relationship through these two temporary tables. So I'm refreshing this schema. So there are two temporary tables for many to many relationship, right? From employee to vehicle, it's maintaining EMP underscore vehicle relationship, and vehicle to employee, it maintains vehicle to employee relationship. From vehicle, if you want an employee, I require this table, it uses this table. From employee to vehicles, it uses employee underscore vehicle table. These two are these two are temporary tables. If you want to change EMP underscore vehicle table name, you have to use the join table annotation in the employee class. If you want to change the temporary table of join table of from vehicle employee table, this join table, you have to use join table annotation in the vehicle class, right? Remaining is same. So from vehicle you can get the employees list, from employee you can get the vehicles list. Right? Any doubts? Right.
Kranti, no, regarding this actually Hibernate thing, uh, actually I've used the Hibernate
Okay.
in my project. So, but there is some reverse engineering is there in that everything will be get created, right? Only we need to write a the calculation part we need to write that business logic.
I mean, you are asking about tools.
Yeah, this Hibernate I'm asking.
Yeah, Hibernate. Okay.
Actually, I didn't learn from any of these things. I just learned from the net only. So there I used to see that we have to get the configuration file, and after that if we do reverse engineering with the created table already, the database table and all is there. So if we do that, all the this one all the beans for particular table, everything will get generated automatically, everything. So just we have to do this client Hibernate client page.
Correct. Correct.
That's
So
it.
there are some tools are, I mean, some Eclipse plugins. There are some Eclipse plugins. If you install that, so did they suggested to install the Hibernate Eclipse plugins?
No, no, whatever you that same thing, that Hibernate thing, same thing I've installed. So there we in while creating a project, we'll have that Hibernate thing, right?
Yes, that's
No,
what I said. So whenever you suppose if you create a new, here you will
yeah,
see Hibernate project means you
yeah, yeah.
already have a Hibernate installed some plugin, or else it says specific to Hibernate.
Scroll, just scroll here. I'll show you. Just scroll there up, up.
No, you will not see Hibernate here, definitely. So I'm just typing if you want.
Okay.
You will not see that
Oh, okay, okay.
because it's enabled with the Hibernate. There will be a Eclipse plugins, right? So
Yeah.
how the Eclipse plugins helps us to make the developer easy. So if you create servlet project, right?
Uh-huh.
Whenever I create a new servlet, it is generating web.xml, it is generating public do post, do get, everything it is generating because my Eclipse is enabled by default, that is was enabled, but Hibernate will not come with the default with this Eclipse. So you need to add plugins to it,
Mm-hmm.
Hibernate plugins to it, or else
Yeah.
you can download. I mean, you may get Hibernate installed versions of Eclipse. So if you take that, you by default you will get a Hibernate. So whenever you create a new Hibernate applications, it provides it many tools. Like you said, it provides many tools from database to reverse engineering. You can do that.
Okay.
In your Eclipse, is it getting new Hibernate?
No, in my Eclipse, it was not there. I added that plugin. I've installed and I
Yeah, yeah,
configured the plugin to the Eclipse.
yeah. That's right. Also.
So after that, whenever we are using, when I right click on that, once we can create whatever the project we want. After that, while selecting the files and all, like if you want to get the config XML, so I have the separate folder here in the wizard. So Hibernate wizard, there will have that configuration file, reverse engineering file, XML mapping file. Those three is are available. So when I select and I have to, like, if I select the database and all the things will get generated automatically.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So yeah, maybe I have not gone through any of the particular classes and all. I didn't know all these things, but output was the same thing. Whatever I was doing was the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Let,
To generate automatically from database to Java beans.
okay.
This is about many-to-many relationship. So okay, so I'm going back to one-to-many relationship now. Why? Because I want to show you some new concept. Okay, again one-to-many. So I'm keeping comment many-to-one in the vehicle class. Again, I'm keeping comment. Yeah, comment on this many-to-one. So I'm commenting this. Okay, so I made it again like earlier, one-to-many. So I'm commenting join table as well, and in the class I'm going back, right? Okay, that's fine. So here we are doing something, right? Here we are adding employee to vehicle and vehicle to employees, and we need to save all vehicles along with the employee. See, whenever I save an employee, it should be able to save vehicle and vehicle 1, vehicle 2, vehicle 3 also, right? So Hibernate knows everything, whatever the information it has. That means employee and vehicle are entity. If an entity is added to employee, it can also create by automatically vehicle also, right? Why I need to save this again? Why I need to save vehicles again? Right? Whenever I save employees, vehicles also need to be stored in the database. It has all the information. I doesn't require to do this save again and again, right? It's an unnecessary stuff here. I mean, it doesn't require actually. Similarly here, I mean 4, 5, 6, say one vehicle 1, 2, 3 are vehicles of employee, and 4, 5, 6 are vehicles of employee 1. Whenever I save employee, it has to save automatically vehicle 1, vehicle 2, vehicle 3 also. Similarly, when I save employee 1, it has to automatically store vehicle 4, 5, 6. Right? So we can do that with some property. Right? So in the one-to-many relationship, we have a property called cascading. Cascade. So you may be heard in the database, right? Cascade. What is the cascade? Suppose if you uh, if you have table with one-to-many relationship with the other table. Let me take a same example. Employee have many vehicles. There is a vehicle table and employee. So an employee. So that means what internally it does, it uses a foreign key in the vehicle table. It uses a foreign key, employee ID. Right. So suppose one employee number 1 having 1, 2, 3 vehicles, employee ID 2 having 4, 5, 6 vehicles. Suppose if I remove employee 1 in the future, right? If I remove employee 1 in the future, 1, 2, 3 vehicles are belongs to employee 1 should also be deleted from vehicle or not? Automatically delete or not? I am talking only about the database concept. I am talking only database. In database, we have a concept called cascading, right? Suppose by default, whenever I remove an employee, we also need to remove vehicles or not. By default, it will not remove, right? If you enable the cascading, if you remove that employee, it also removes vehicles corresponding to the employees. If you enable the cascading for the delete operation. Cascading we can enable for each operation. Suppose if you enable the cascading for delete operation, it also deletes the uh, vehicles also, right? If you enable it for adding, you don't need to say vehicles also to save. So what I'm doing is for all the cascade operation, cascade type all. So what I'm doing is for all the cascade operations, um, I'm enabling for all the operation and I'm enabling the cascade. Okay, in the client, I doesn't require to say if for each vehicles it automatically does. Similarly, it does. But with save method, cascade will not work. Save method cascade will not work. You have to use a separate method called persist. Okay, persist. So if you use a persist method, it also persists the vehicles also, vehicle objects also. Okay, same also, persist also does like save method. It also saves the complete employee and vehicle as well, cascade attributes as well. So I'm just running the application, Java application. Unknown column EMP ID in the field list. Okay, let me remove mapped by here. Maybe it is creating problems. And also earlier I used many to many, right? So I will delete it manually because some of the tables will not be deleted. So drop table, drop table. Okay, now it has created the relationships. Refresh. Okay, now what I will do is I will drop again. I will enable map by. Now I will run the application. Okay, and that's fine. So earlier many too many tables because of some conflicts it's getting, I think so. Okay, so now if I refresh the schema, so employee is there, vehicle also there, right? So vehicle details also saved automatically without you didn't say any save vehicles, right? I commented all save methods for vehicles. You didn't save any vehicles here, even though you are able to save the vehicles, right? That's why whenever you enable cascade, it automatically saves the cascade rows also. So these vehicles also you are able to save in the database. Okay, you can, I mean, you can also enable cascade operation for each operation. Like now we only, this is for only create, right? So you can only, if you want to do it for it will also do it for merge operation, refresh operation, remove operation, persist operation. So it can also do it for any operation. So that's why I mentioned all here. So for a remove, for merge, for anything, so cascade will run automatically. So what's your question? Yeah, if you use a mapped by, right, it will not create any join table, right? It will not create any join table, but in the vehicles, it creates information, all the vehicles information, and mapping is regularly, right? What? So the only changing here is vehicles automatically saving. You are not saying the vehicles uh, to create, to save, to persist in the database. We are not doing that. We are only doing persisting the employee. Yeah, if you have a join table or not. See, even if I don't use mapped by now, okay. I'm if you want to enable, I will enable join table also. Now, now I will run the application. Okay, Hibernate client run as Java application. Okay, it was ran successfully. So let me go there and let me refresh the schema. I got join table here, and there are relations. In the vehicle table here, there are relations. There are vehicle entries. Employee table. So these vehicle data, we didn't say anything to save automatically, right? Whenever we save an employee, it automatically saves the vehicle information as well.